I don't know what that was. All right. Trying again. Okay, let's try this again. Hey!
I can hear you.
Can you guys hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear Zach now?
Raise your hand if you're sure. All right.
Okay, he's back.
Hey, so
all
that
right,
first
let's try again.
little clip, like
Hit
that
it.
was, they got
Go.
to see like a behind the scenes. That's like outtake footage, right? All right.
Yeah, that's the first
We're
time
in
I've
a whole
made a
new
mistake,
building.
and I'm
So
pretty
today,
upset with
J-Max
myself.
with us in Terre Haute. We have a lot of things going on in our lives, but you've probably got the most going on in your life. I'll tell you what. I've never sold my house and moved into a 2-bedroom apartment with another man and my 2 dogs and his cat. So you're setting some milestones right now, Mr. Jason McIntosh.
Well, that's why I look so dapper and professional today in my hoodie. Anyway, we have important ggCircuit announcements. We'll focus on me later. Maybe we should start
at the end of every
life
cast. We'll go through the Jason McIntosh. What have you done this week? All right, so we're back after a couple weeks off.
That's right.
And was not at all intentional. Obviously, we want to do a weekly show, but the past 2 weeks have been just slam-packed full of a lot of different developments on our end. And we wanted to wait until a lot of those things were in place before we started talking about some things. So we're going to go away from our standard format today. We're not going to go through questions and answers and things. We'll get back to that next week. This week, we just have so many announcements that we want to focus on each of these announcements. And obviously, if anybody listening live has questions, feel free to jump in and ask some specific questions about things. Otherwise, most of you catch this on our YouTube channel. We may upload it to our MLG partner channel as well tonight. But without further ado, let's just jump right into the announcements. What do you say, J-Mac? All right, so first of all,
okay, do it.
The ggCircuit skin is in full release. It's available to all centers through full release, no more beta. If you are a active SmartLaunch customer, you can go to your SmartLaunch server, search for an update. The update you'll get is release 4.8.77, and it has the ggCircuit skin in full release in that version. Now, couple things to keep in mind on that is that you've got to have your center enabled on our end. Like ggCircuit has to say, yes, you are an active subscriber of ggCircuit to be able to show that skin on your screen. So we've gone through today, all of you that are current active customers, everybody's been enabled as of about 15 minutes ago. So that way when we went on to the air, anybody that wanted to go onto their servers and update their servers could get it. Once you've got it updated, restart your clients, force an update to your clients if you need to be able to see the skin. Let's just briefly cover the skin, J-Mac, as in its current state. One of the things you've been working on, I know, is working with different resolutions so that we can go below that threshold of 1080 tall. We're looking at a couple different thresholds. 1440 by 900, I think, is one of them, maybe even 1600 by 900. But give us a quick update on some of those resolution changes.
Yeah. Well, our base is 1920 by 1280. That was our original resolution that we've done. We know, in my experience in working with the full screen slider, not everybody has 1920 by 1280. So what we have done is we have tried to focus on...
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I meant, 1920 by 1080. I thought I said that, but I haven't slept much. The 1600 by 900 is supported. 1440 by 900 is supported, and 1280 by 1024, I believe, is supported. Those, and we know that it's not going to be perfect right now, but it is showing up on the resolutions. Anything below 1280 is not going to show the panels.
The skin is set up to automatically
as it stands right now.
Right.
Right. We have done our best to squeeze the panels into some of the lower resolutions. It may not be perfect, and we'll work on that over the next week. But 1920 by 1080 should be great. There's going to, for those that haven't seen the skin yet, or at least in person, you have a logged out view that kind of shows the general pulse of what's going on in your center, and it is pretty much center based. We've tried to stay away from a global picture. And
have you done any theming with that based on their colors yet? I know that was a suggestion of one of the beta guys. Okay.
No, that'll be something that we update probably in the next couple of weeks. That one of the beta guys wasn't super keen on the ggCircuit colors, and I'm like, that's cool, we'll figure it out, but we will at least point to the header data, which is just the titles of each section, to have the background color.
Right, so if your store colors are red and blue, we could have those show up in a blue theme, so that way it matches the theme of your center. Okay.
Right.
Right.
And I think that'll satisfy most of the needs. Then in the logged in view, it's going to show how many coins your users have earned total, how many they have spent. This is going to be a very important update for centers that don't want to look up a user's coins all the time. It's something that's going to alleviate that work. They're not going to have to do that extra thing. A user's going to be able to see the next prize up that they can earn in your center if there are prizes available. They're going to see their recent activity where their coins are being applied via hourly or in-game skill coins. Their recent prizes that they've redeemed, and we're just getting started on this. So we already have about 2 or 3 sections built, but we're kind of just wanting to push this initial release out, and then you'll see, without even needing to do a full-scale SmartLaunch release, stuff updated, because now that we have the skins involved there, the web pages, the web panels are a separate thing.
I want to cover where we're at right now in development, because this milestone is so big. I don't want to kind of graze over it and just basically kind of just say, well, congratulations, we've got the skin released. So the way this works is that over the past 6 months, there's been a lot of development back and forth between the SmartLaunch team and the ggCircuit team. And amazingly, over the past 30 days, there's been some significant strides made in having the full version of this skin released inside of SmartLaunch's build. And so now that all those little bugs and tweaks and things are done, there may be a few other little small resolution changes, but once it's done, the SmartLaunch portion is completed and nothing needs to be touched again. So there doesn't need to be any more SmartLaunch updates in the future for the ggCircuit skin. Then all the updates come from our end as we develop those panels and continue to put more and more data into those panels. So to give you an idea, when you log in as a player, right now you can see on the right side of the screen what accounts you have linked to certain games. All it does is shows whether you've linked them or not. That will immediately, within the next week to 10 days or so, become an option for the players to click on the League of Legends logo, go in and link their League of Legends account themselves instead of a staff member at the front having to do it. We can make all those changes now on our end with our development team without any kind of build or release from SmartLaunch's side. So the part on the SmartLaunch side is, other than maybe tweaking some little resolution issues here and there, is finished, which is a ginormous milestone for us. And again, the best part that's come out of all of this is how actively we've been involved with them, and they've been involved with us during the development process of this skin. And the relationship we'll talk about here in a minute is really escalating to a whole nother level, which is super exciting.
Mm-hmm. I would say, just to tag on to that, if there's any issues that people are seeing that we're not seeing the panels or that type of thing, please let us know so that we can go in and make sure that your center is enabled.
Right, because it could be, I mean, chances are, we've never seen this, but if a guy logs in, he's seeing someone else's stats, for example, or something really bizarre like that, let us know if their name's not displaying correctly and that sort of thing. You know, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that just, it seems like, oh yeah, you just log in and you show the data for that user, but you know, you're logging into SmartLaunch server's talking to our client's talking to our servers talk back to our client, the client talks back to the SmartLaunch server, and then the SmartLaunch server tells the SmartLaunch client what to display. That whole process is extremely complicated, and you know, again, I just can't believe what our teams have pulled off in order to do this. I mean, it's truly something that we've strove for strived for 10 years at eBash. I mean, the ability to put game stats and data into the skin is just humongous. I mean, it's just a big deal. So so that's number one on our announcement list. Anything else on that, J-Mac? Okay. Number two, official dates for the winter season. Obviously, we were shooting to release it Monday of this week, I think. But this was so important that we get this release of the skin done. That and again, all of our sponsors are great. We have great sponsors. We'll talk about who they are here in a second. But the winter season is going to kick off December 14th. It will end on February 22nd, and it's a little bit of a different format this time. So I want to make sure all the centers are comfortable with this, knowing how things are changing. We'll still have the center versus center competition. So the traveling trophy will still travel around. And Selmo's probably received the trophy down at Overzone for winning last season. I've got to mail him here. I'll even show you so you know. So this is the, I don't know if you can see this, but there's the panel that I've got to mail him that he'll add to the trophy. All right. I can't see what you're seeing.
I could barely see that. Put that back up. It was...
Okay, so that'll be added to the base of the trophy as he was the winner of the fall 2015 season. So the top center has a chance of winning that. Again, it's handicapped so that it has a chance, the same chance for a small center to win as it is for a big center. It's not just about the most hours played or the most players in a center. It's about rallying your players around a specific task each week and a specific goal. So that will continue on like normal. What we're doing different this season is that by far the players, which now the skin is in front of every one of these players, so they're going to ask more and more about it, but they've asked for us to do some specific player rewards that are skill-based. So the raffles are going to go away. We're not going to do any kind of raffle drawings through the season. Now all the prizes from sponsors are going to be specifically focused on goals each week of the season and throughout the regions of the world. So again, just as a quick example, let's talk about a couple of our sponsors here. So Ball's Energy Drink is primarily based here in the United States. They've been great suppliers of ours for years and years and years. I called them up. We talked about some things, and they're on board 100% to sponsor League of Legends for the winter season. So all over the world, even though you can't get Ball's Energy Drink, they've agreed to sponsor this for all of the centers all over the world. The top player in each region every week is going to get a $25 Steam Riot Point card for League of Legends. 5 regions around the world are North America, South America, Europe, Middle East, and Asia / Australia. So every week, a player, the top player in League of Legends for that week will win a $25 Riot Point card. That's for 8 straight weeks. So there's 40, I believe, prizes given out by Balls for that. I mean, that's one of the things that will give you momentum and give you motivation for your players. Like, what am I doing this for? Why do I do this? It's not just to help you win the Center Cup. Now it's also that they can win a prize. Klipsch Gaming Headsets has graciously agreed to give us a headset to give away each of those 8 weeks as well during the regular season. So again, there'll be an overall objective that the players can play for to win a Klipsch Gaming headset each of those weeks. And then Alienware's back again as a major sponsor. The overall winner of the entire season will win an Alienware Alpha unit. Those are super cool. We've done that 2 seasons in a row. They're on board for this season again, which is great. They've also thrown in some really cool gear, some backpacks, some t-shirts and things that are coming directly off their website that'll be shipped out to winners throughout the season. So keep an eye out. Every week what we're going to focus on is we're going to focus on trying to do a Tuesday show like this that's us speaking to the centers, and then we're going to try to do a Thursday show each week to highlight the winners of the players, talk a little bit about the previous week's MVPs, and give a show that you can put up in your center if you want to for your players. This is very specific. This is an intimate group of centers that are all kind of sharing together. It's not necessarily something that we want to put in front of the players. I don't care if they find it, they can read it. They probably don't understand what we're talking about half the time, but we want to do a specific, very short, probably 15 to 20 minute show on Thursdays that just lets the players know, here's what you can work for this week, here's your objectives, here's the winners from last week, and give them that sort of information that they need to know. Yeah.
Can I stop you for a second? The gaming headsets and the Alienware Alpha, are those also for top players, or will those
those
be
are going to all be top players.
Raffles,
we're trying to go away.
Yet?
And again, the feedback from everybody so far has been it's great to win some raffle stuff, but the raffle stuff to me is more like a reward for the players that play the most, and everybody has a chance to win. The season itself, we're going to try to focus on the top players, the top players that achieve something in a week and over the 8 weeks, and that win the overall season after the full 10 weeks are completed. So we'll have some other prizes that we're going to talk about over the next couple weeks for the Gold Rush type competitions. We've got some great prizes coming down the pipe from a couple other partnerships we're working on for in-game codes and in-game keys that players can win, and those will be more of the casual players that will just want to win some things here and there. You don't have to come in and really focus on a certain objective to win something. Cool. Okay. All right. So ggCircuit skin release, winter season sponsors and schedule. We have a cool event coming up on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. This will run around the globe for all the centers around the world. Now, unfortunately, because again, some of the partnerships that we've got are specifically here in the U.S., if any of you centers want to take the lead on working on some partnerships in your specific regions, we need help with that. I mean, it's a call for help. If you're willing to help and you have some contacts, I'll just give you an example with the first thing. But, again, Ball's Energy Drink is on board for the winter season. They're also on board for WANdemonium. They've agreed to ship out 10 free cases of their energy drink to any center that buys at least 10 cases, and those can be used for our New Year's Eve event or throughout the month of January for other prizes if they want. That's specific to the U.S. I mean, it's just impossible for them to ship a case of energy drink outside of the U.S. There's a lot of laws about shipping things over country borders anyway, and it just doesn't make sense for them to provide those kind of prizes out to the rest of the world. If you have a contact for Red Bull in Europe or Monster in Europe or anybody else energy drink company in Europe, and you want to reach out to them, I've got sponsorship decks I can give to you that you can share with them that shows them the number of impressions they'll see, the number of customers that will see their logo, and we can work then on you being the hub for your region for helping get those products and prizes distributed. It's a very, very easy phone call to make. I've had no problem raising sponsorships here in the U.S., and sometimes they're willing to work with other countries, but most of the time, especially if it's a physical product, it's very difficult to get that from the U.S. to South America or to Australia or to Asia or any other country just because of the shipping costs. The last season prizes I shipped out, they cost me, I probably spent $70 a center shipping products all over the world, for a $100 or $200 prize, and it just doesn't make sense to keep that model going long term. So we need partners in each of these regions. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a step back for just a second. You kind of just glossed over.
Yep.
The event is called WANdemonium, and it's, we've got a lot of sponsors, but do people have to tell us?
For the Ball sponsorship in the United States, yes. And so I've reached out in the Facebook group. We've started a list of centers that are participating with that. They'll do up to 16 centers. And so what we'll do is that we'll either cap it at 16 there, or I'll reach out and fill it with a couple other ones, because not everybody's in the Facebook group actively. If you're not and you're watching this show and you're not a Facebook person, get one of your staff members in the Facebook group, because a lot of information flows through that group. But yeah, we will run events for everybody all around the world. Now, granted, some of them are applicable to other regions. So we would like to run a Hearthstone bracketed tournament, for example, that night. On the New Year, we'd like to run one in each of the regions around the world, but it'll have to be region specific. If you're a Hearthstone player in Europe, your Hearthstone account does not connect with the Hearthstone accounts in North America. So somebody in Europe will need to admin the tournament there, and it's very, very simple. It's not something that's going to require you a lot of time. So if you have Hearthstone players at your center in Europe or in the Middle East or wherever, let us know. We'll have you come in, and they love this word, the TO word, but the tournament organizer for that region will be able to see the brackets, see all the players checked in, run the brackets through the night. It's right, all through the ggCircuit system.
All through the
we'll
ggCircuit
have prizes
system
that we can distribute for the winners of that event. Won't cost any players anything to join. Won't cost any centers anything to be a part of it. Just a really cool event. We want to try to run a couple things to kick off the new year, like the first people that are running organized event for the new year. Nobody else is running events New Year's Day. ggCircuit at midnight, your local time. Let's get some tournaments started. So that's one of the big ones. We're also going to do a global League of Legends New Year's ranked race. So basically at 12:01 a.m. your local time, and again, players will have fun with this, but the first person to race to 5 ranked wins in League of Legends that are dated for the new year will win a prize in each region. So it'll obviously hit 12:01 a.m. in Australia 12 hours before it hits 12:01 a.m. here in eastern part of the United States. So each region will have their own little race running. And again, you can have as much fun with this if you want. If you're doing another event at your center, just couple this into the event. Your players don't even have to know about it, but it's going to show up. It'll be one of the events that show up on the new skin. So if they want to, they can click on it, learn more about it. But everybody's automatically entered to play, and everybody's automatically entered for a chance to win. And that, they may not know they're playing. They may just be playing ranked matches and be really good, win their first 5 ranked matches of the new year, and boom, next thing you know, we're shipping you a prize, or we're sending you a code, in-game code to use for that player. So those things are happening New Year's Eve. That'll be second or third week, I think, of the regular season, but that's a completely separate event. It's a 24-hour event that starts New Year's Eve in Australia and ends when poor Devin out in Hawaii finally wakes up. And that guy is up at 6 in the morning my time, he's awake, but I realize it's 1 a.m. his time the previous day, or early at night. So that's coming up
right
in less than a month. So we have all those things going on. Next point real quickly that we're going to hit on is, I got an email back today. My dev team doesn't even know this. JMac doesn't even know this. I just added it because the email came through. Our contact at 343 has come through, and they're working on finalizing. We've looked through the API for Halo, but we ran into a small roadblock in authenticating the user's ownership of their Xbox Live tag. Because again, if you're a Dota 2 player, you use SteamGuard, you log into Steam, and you verify that you're the owner of that account so that we can track your Dota. There's no way to cheat and use somebody else's account because you have to log in with it. We want the same thing for Xbox Live, and this goes way beyond Halo 5 integration, but they're going to get us the endpoint we need so that a player can come to ggCircuit, again, on the skin, look up there and see an Xbox Live symbol, click on it, come to our site, log in with their Xbox Live information. It goes out to Xbox Live, verifies that they're the owner of that account, gives us permission to view their stats, and boom, every Xbox game that we ever support and we ever work on support for will work for that user once they have their Xbox Live tag linked and verified. It's a big, big, big deal. That's something that very, very, very few people, if anybody at all, has worked out, and is a super big exclusive for us, especially when we talk about how many centers out there are running consoles that do not have a lot of things for those players to do. I know at eBash we have a lot of console players. You have a really, really big group of console players. Our centers are about 100 to 120 stations. It's almost 40%, 40%, 20% as far as PCs, Xboxes, and PlayStations. So we're very, very heavy on the console side, and this is a big deal for us, and I know it'll be a big deal for a lot of other centers out there. Next thing before we cover the final thing, which is I want to save the most time for, but I don't know if anybody realizes how big of a thing that we're all building together. But I just want to touch on this next point real briefly, because I think some centers are still missing this, even though we've covered it in some other TwitchCasts before. But we just today, I noticed this when JMac sent the email out today reminding everybody that we were going to be on the air, but if anybody else caught on to this, we just passed 20,000 prizes redeemed inside the ggCircuit network. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to people, and people don't seem to know. I know you had a call with Albert from the Grid this week trying to explain how this system works, and I feel bad that so many centers are missing this, but 20,000 prizes have been redeemed. And this is a big part of the ggCircuit system. When players play, they love seeing their name in lights, they love being the top on the leaderboard, but they're earning these virtual coins, and these virtual coins are valuable. They're going to be used for a lot of different things in the future, but right now the most important thing that you can have them use these for is prizes within your store. So many centers I see are waiting on ggCircuit to provide them prizes. Again, you may be paying us $75 a month, we're spending tens of thousands of dollars on development every month to build this product for all these game centers. There's not a budget for us to go buy prizes to provide you for your players. Now, granted, we're trying to use all of us as a well-oiled machine and a big unit of players to get sponsor prizes, but don't wait on us. Don't count on us to give your players prizes. This is what drives them over and over and over back to your store. There's a case study we'd be happy to show you that was done for Devin out of PC Gamers that shows exactly how much the playtime increases at your store for players that are coming back over and over and over again to try to win more coins, to win more prizes. Simple things, 1 hour of game time. Price it whatever you want. Price it for 5,000 coins. Price it for 10,000 coins. Put prizes in your center. Our YouTube channel has walkthroughs. Even if you don't speak English, go to our YouTube channel, watch the walkthroughs. It shows you how to add a prize. It shows you how to redeem a prize. This is big because the skin is going to put a section of prizes right in front of every one of your players. So if your center does not have a prize, it's not going to show your players what they can do with their coins. This is a big deal. So 20,000 prizes have been redeemed at ggCircuit centers around the world. All right? That's a big, big deal. And if you're not using it, that should be a glaring instance and an example for you of why you need to check it out and get involved. It's not a lot of work. It's not a lot of time. It can cost you as little or as much as you want. You reward your customers as little or as much as you want. But it has to be in there. You just have to have it in there.
Yeah. One other thing that we haven't mentioned at all that happened maybe a week ago is the 75,000 player threshold with at least one coin in the ggCircuit system in less than a year.
Our goal, personally, you and I, we want to be at 100 centers. We want to be at 100,000 gamers by the end of the year. We're on the 4-week countdown, and I've never been more positive that we're going to hit that mark. So there's 70 active centers, I think 69 or 70 active centers currently. We have 104 in our database system right now, and we're working to get the rest of those set up. A lot of them are in other languages, a lot of them are in other countries, and so it's a learning process for us getting them set up. But it leads perfectly into this next topic that I want to touch on. And okay, go ahead. Okay, all right.
Let me add one more bullet point before you get there, and I'll be very brief on this. For those that are using the new slider, eventually the old slider is going to not be supported anymore. You'll still be able to use it. It won't have the latest and greatest information on all the slides. For this week, I have been working with a few center owners and have been doing translations for the slider, currently in Spanish, Portuguese, and I'm going to say this wrong. I want to say Slovak, but I'm not sure. Slovakian. Yeah. It's in Czechoslovakia's region.
Hey,
I sound like an ugly American, but I appreciate that. I have Spanish and Portuguese done. We'll be working on the next one, so thank you for those that have helped me make sure my translations are correct. And so you will be seeing the new slider.
Yeah, that's great.
In
and
your
again,
own language.
That's part of what we've got to do as a group of LAN centers is we've got to kind of team together and work out some of these things. Our team is extremely good at what we're doing, but there's only so many of us, and so anything you guys can do to help like that. If you're in a country and we don't support your language, if you would provide us the translations for the slides, then JMac can get them on there and produce a slide for you that's in your local language.
Yeah, usually what I'm doing is I'm reaching out to translators, and I've got a list of targeted phrases that I have them translate for me, and then I will reach out to a center owner in that region just to verify that everything's correct, and to help me for things that don't need to be translated.
So last point of the day that I want to touch on, and we'll talk about this for a little bit. Behind the scenes, there's still a few T's to cross and a few I's to dot. But I just want to preface this announcement with, from the day that we've all opened our centers, from the day that we all thought about opening a center, the one recurring theme that we always go into this business for is that none of us go in this business to say, hey, I want to go try to do this, and I feel like I'm just going to do it for a couple years and then stop doing it. We all get into this business because we want to do something that grows and gets bigger and bigger and is part of something grand and is part of a bleeding edge, cutting edge, just something that 10 years from now, people are going to look back at and say, man, this guy was smart. He got in at the beginning of this. Now, in our industry, there's been struggles over the past 5 to 6 years. The economy problems that we've all experienced across the world has caused a lot of centers to not make it through rough times. Some centers have been able to get through those tough times, but the one thing that I am the most firm with, and this is the core of everything that I do and that I believe in, is that I want to see every LAN center around the world be successful and be part of something big. And so to a fault, I will go out of my way and try to figure out how to keep people going and to give them advice and to work with them to try to get them in the right place, doing the right thing. Because I know that as a group together, united, we are all very, very powerful, and we can do really, really great things as a unified body of centers and representing all of the players that participate in our store. So this announcement, again, that while it's not going to have a lot of meat to it today and details for it, because I contractually cannot tell some of that stuff yet, but in the inner workings of everything that we've been working on with SmartLaunch, we are on, I have to be careful how I say this, we're on the path to providing a product to all the centers that is a combination of what the two companies do together at a price rate that is going to be, I want to say, revolutionary in the cafe software space and in the esports space for what we're working on together and what we're going to be able to provide for centers. I have just been actively just working my butt off back and forth in negotiations. Mike, the CEO from SmartLaunch, is top of the line. He and I have the same vision, the same insight towards the future of where this industry is going to be. And we're working on unifying a product that we can roll out to centers that will allow centers to participate in what we've got going on at such a small fraction of a price of what you're paying today that it's almost inconceivable that we've been able to figure out how to make this work financially for both companies. So it is a very, very big deal because, again, for me, it's all about making all of these centers successful. And obviously, this is my opinion, and I'm sure some center owners do not have the same opinion. So if you're a center owner and you're sitting out in your center today and you have cash rolling in your door and your model is working great, absolutely, hats off to you. You've done a great job. There, however, are a lot of centers out there that are in this business, that are on the edge, that are struggling, that are saying, how do we get to the next level? And I believe to my core that automation and events inside the center are the keys to this whole process. And that can be not just ggCircuit initiatives, but SmartLaunch initiatives and initiatives within the cafe software that can push automated marketing tools out to the centers that allow them to send a quick email out to all of their players, reminding their players that this Friday night's a lock-in. Send a quick notice out to the latest ggCircuit winner via text message to let them know, hey, congratulations, here's your code you can use that you just won in that Counter-Strike game. Things that we're talking about that are revolutionary license sharing programs, and I've said this before, but it's not been a possibility without us being this close to a partnership with SmartLaunch, so that we can then begin to mold the two companies' softwares together in such a way that the ggCircuit advances that we've had can be taken advantage of by the SmartLaunch side, and the SmartLaunch core system that's been there that's so solid can be taken advantage of by ggCircuit. The bold example of that is the skin that we just released today that's a collaboration between the two companies that is built inside of SmartLaunch but runs the online ggCircuit product inside of it. So I am super excited about the future. By this time next week, again, I know Mike's listening to this, and he and I are so close on having the document signed and being able to release the the projections and the plan that we want to have for everybody, but because it's not officially done, we're not going to release it yet. I just want to say that if if you're struggling, if you're a center that's struggling, if you're a center that's having trouble figuring out what it is that builds you, that's going to take you to the next level, that's going to have you, drinking a bottle of wine with me in Jamaica one day, or a little drink with an umbrella on it or whatever. I mean, this is the first step in that direction, and we want everybody to reap the benefits of what we've worked so hard on these past few weeks. So I don't know if that makes sense, J-Mac. I know it's a little bit cryptic because I can't share the exact numbers with everybody, but I'm comfortable enough that we're super close on the deal. Gosh, it's just like, I just want to say it, but I just can't say it. But it's just, everybody's just going to have to trust me that this news is super revolutionary in our industry and will turn things upside down moving forward for all of us and everything that we want to try to achieve in the next, I mean, in 2016, it's going to be a different place. Land center industry is going to be a different place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to put like glory, glory, hallelujah behind that.
You don't
speech,
need
and then take that piece of video. And
you don't need.
Some audio under it.
I'm very passionate about it because it's something that I've tried to do. In 2008, I started ggCircuit, and the purpose of it was to just have centers work together. Work together for a common goal, because separate we are nothing. We mean nothing to all these sponsors, to any of these companies that want to put their products in front of our players. But we are so stupid in not realizing that our player base is extremely valuable. I don't care how big of a center you are. You may have 20 stations and only have a couple hundred users that show up in your center every month. But if you put those 200 users with 100 other centers that have 200 users, you have an install base of 20,000 gamers. And that's very, very powerful. And so ggCircuit has done that. And all of you, I mean, again, it's not anything we've done other than build the tools and hand them out there. I mean, I could go on and on about the number of centers that are a part of this that are a huge deal. Anybody that watches the SmartLaunch Facebook page knows. Like, people get in there, they start asking questions. You see a ggCircuit center jump in. Many times the discussion is off topic and it leads them to saying, hey, why are you not a part of ggCircuit? The guys that are involved in this, that are aware of what we're trying to do, that know what we're trying to do, that support us, they're our best spokespeople. There's no question about it. And they're our best supporters, and whatever we roll out, they're 100% on board for, because they see the bigger picture of this long-term down the road. It can very, very easily be something that as a group is 1 or 2 million players by the end of 2016. That's what's going to happen. I'm just telling you right now that in a year from now, we'll have over 1 million players on our system 1 year from today. And all of the stuff that we're working through today will become a non-issue. So, like little hiccups and bumps along the way, the speed of development is going to increase by about 3-fold over the next 30 days. We're going to start rolling out a lot of features now that the skin is done. It's just a really, really great time. And, again, it's the holiday season. Everybody's cheery. It's a busy season. Centers are going to start seeing a lot of players in their store over the holidays. I'm super excited about where we're at, more so than I ever have been. And a lot of it, again, stems from the discussions that we've been just consumed with over the past 2 weeks. The ggCircuit team and the SmartLaunch team have just put hours and hours and hours of brain power and analyzation and things into place to be able to come to the industry with what we're hoping to be able to release next week. That sounds so cryptic. I just want to be able to say it, but I don't even want it to be a teaser.
We'll be back Tuesday.
It's happening. It's real. It's unacceptable that it doesn't happen from this point. Like, if J-Mac has to sell his house and move into a place with Romy, then we'll do it. That'll happen.
Right. Zach and I, for a long time, we've always been at least 2 hours away from each other, and we've always said, well, one day we'll work in the same office, and that's starting to look like reality. So that's exciting for us. We're excited for all the centers that jumped on board with us from the beginning, and those that'll
Right.
jump
One thing is a
on
closing,
from,
just real quickly.
here on out.
Going back to the skin, everybody needs to go out and try it. Everybody, I mean, if you're an active ggCircuit subscriber, we've enabled it on our end, so you're ready to go. All you got to do is go to the server, check for updates, make sure you're on 4.8.77, then restart your clients. They'll get the panels installed on the both sides of the login and log out screen and start showing those things. The reason why this is important is even the best centers, you know, like obviously I think my centers are the best because I'm actively out there beating the tar out of my employees to talk about what we're doing with ggCircuit. But I'll just use Devin as an example at PC Gamers. So Devin got the beta of the skin installed 3 or 4 days ago, and he went through all sort of trouble, had started having hardware issues on his SmartLaunch machine and everything else. But the one thing he said to me, which just rings true, because Devin does a great job promoting ggCircuit. He has the display slider running. He has it on his website.
Yep.
He has it on, has he put it on his Facebook page yet? I don't know if he's put it on his Facebook page. He's always making announcements to his players. He actively promotes it as good as you possibly can as a center. But he put the skin in, and literally, like I'm on chat with him as he's putting it in, as it's booting up, and as he has a guy come to the counter as he's working on this and walk up and say to him, "It shows I have these 5,000 coins. What do those mean?" And then you're like, he's like blown away, like, how in the world could anybody in my store not know what these coins are, not know what they're a part of, not know what they're doing? And this guy had 5,000. So it wasn't like he had 50, you know, like he'd been there an hour and earned his first 50 coins the first hour, but he had 5,000 coins and had no idea. That's the power of this skin right in front of your players. You don't have to worry about your staff telling people. You don't have to worry about them asking you how many coins they have all the time. It's right there. It's in the sidebars. When they log in, it'll tell them everything, give them their match history. It's a lot of cool data right in their faces, and it's only just going to keep getting more precise and more cool as we go. That's your homework out there to take away from today. Go turn on the skin. Cool?
Yep.
You already did? You get the skin?
I already did it.
My mind, I turned on my skin. It's good to have you in my store, buddy. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
You may not have to make this temporary. You may have to stay here a little longer. Oh, gee, I'll pay for where you're living now.
You're paying for where I'm living. All right.
We'll be back Tuesday next week.
We were going to get on the. Do you want to get on the camera?
It's still a mystery. They don't know if we're telling the truth or not. All right.
Okay.
See you, buddy. All right.
All right.